you look what they're resting on, each one of those is supporting a 6x8, 6x10, 8x10 type of beam. Wow. Massive beam, massive construction. They're truce on center instead of a lot of constructions at that time variable width joists. These are very, very accurately placed. There is some differences over there. There is an exterior door. Do not go out of that because the house was vandalized.
This door here?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a no-no.
Being outside, if you go outside, it looks like a little storm cellar.
Nice honking furnace you got, too.
The thing that amazes me about this height and ceiling got. This is an old house from the 1960s. This would have been a washroom, workroom, possible summer kitchen down here. It's obviously was another story.
So we've heard a male so far, we've heard a woman, we've heard a child. The woman spoke quite a bit on the second floor. The man had a lot to say on the first floor, or the attic. Is there anybody down here right now who would like to come out and speak to us? I'm going to take some pictures. Yeah, I'm taking them. Could you come and show yourself for me? Who lived down here in the basement? Were there people down here in the basement with my same skin color? What did you say?
Repeat yourself, John.
Were there people down here in the basement with my same skin color?
Here it is, down in the Gill House. The scene that I thought was definitely 100% something paranormal. We're down here and we're doing a ghost box session. Next thing I know, this thick utility cord starts just swinging in the breeze. Like, how the hell is that supposed to happen? And I got really psyched about it. I said, hey, this is something legitimate. Let me check it out. Hey, look, yeah, I told my friend, this is it. Well, I start taking a real hard look at this thing. And naturally, when things like this happen, my first instinct is to say, after the excitement phase, is to say, these things occur at such a small rate that the chances of it being something else are quite high. So I stop and I try and sort of compose myself, and I'm watching the video, I'm pumped, and I say, you got to find everything you can to explain it. Watching the videos and the cuts I have of the video, I don't get a good view. I can bring the exposure up, I can bring the contrast up, I can change the tint, whatever I can to make the thing show up. Still not getting much. Well, I go back in and I look at some of the original footage and I find that, hey, I took a few pictures, and inside the pictures that I'm taking, there's a bright flash with each one. Inside of that bright flash, the room illuminates. So I go to something I think a lot of people need is VLC media player, because inside of VLC media player you can use the settings to enhance the footage pretty well. And I go in there, I enhance it, and I actually use the frame by frame function. And inside of that function, I get some pretty damn interesting things. Okay, so once I get into VLC, I get the pictures I need with the flash. What you're seeing here are those 3 pictures. You can see one that has a very heavy flash, and the other 2 are just the room being illuminated. I can now see everything in the room. And what I end up seeing is there's a large cord that goes across the top, like a hang line. And this cord, the utility cord that I think had some kind of spirit movement, poltergeist movement, PK movement, whatever you want to call it, is attached to a rod. Now in the original footage, I didn't see the rod that well because it was so dark. But now using VLC and the frame by frame to get these illuminated photos, what I have is a target. I know Brendan didn't touch it because he's pushed too far back and you can see the cord standing. I know my subtle movement where I move my right shoulder to sort of acknowledge him, to speak to him, did not do it. But what I find is that my head, of all freaking things, hits this rod that's holding the cord and causes it to give that sort of erratic movement. You could even hear the noise of my head hitting it, but it's funny because I don't even act like it hit me. I just hit my damn head and I'm done. But after I get that and after I educate myself a little about what exactly happened, the video becomes much clearer, and I highlighted it to show you my head hits the damn rod. And it goes to show, when you get something like this, you gotta pause and do everything you can to debunk it.
Very fluid brown. With my same hair. You're awfully quiet.
Fuck, I hate when I talk.
Okay, I'm messing up. What is that?
I'm not too sure. Oh, that was a kid.
What are you yelling about? Should we roam around the basement a little? Did you live down here in the basement? Did you clean your clothes down here in the basement? We're going to walk around the basement some and see when you can follow us a bit, okay? Can you be blunt with me? Will you mark that? Did you hear that?
Yeah, I heard it.
If you'd like to be blunt with me, go right ahead if that's what you said.
After film review, I found that the ghost box hit something quite different. It sounds like it says, "Are they prostitutes?" I'll let you hear it again. So, I thought the damn thing said, "Let me be blunt with you." But it does in the end sound more like to me that it says, "Are they prostitutes?" Which is interesting.
Could you tell me more about yourself? Okay. How about this? Could you tell me your name? Let me know if I get close to somewhere you're not comfortable with me at.
I don't know what that said. I'm not too sure either.
You wouldn't? Why wouldn't you tell me that?
These are kind of ongoing. Like, you mark them and then they just keep coming in and in and in.
So far I've heard males. I haven't heard very many responses.
He's mid-age. Black hair. I don't know if one time this used to be a heated by coal. I don't know. Did you just see him He looks like a train worker almost. That's what he reminds me of, as a train worker.
What, is he like covered in soot? And
No. Well, in between, he's not filthy. He's not dirty. He's not... He don't look like he's the train engineer.
right.
He don't look like that. He's wearing like black pants, suspenders. The shirt is... could be white, could be gray. Or not in. But it's not like he's not even... You don't even notice that we're here. He just
Right.
keeps working.
Which side do you see him at?
Right there. He's like right here in between, and you just see him shovel.
Okay. So you said middle age. What is he, like 30s, 40s,
Mid-40s.
mid 40s?
I don't see the front of him. I just see the back of him. He had his back to me. It's like,
What'd you say? You didn't. Did you hear that? Yeah. I said, what'd you say? I didn't. That's cool. What's your name, sir? I like you.
I'm gonna go ahead and tag that on this sound on it. That was maybe like, what, 15 seconds ago?
What'd you say, sir? I like you, man. What's your name? Come on, what's your name? If you don't give me a name, I'm gonna call you Rufio. Hey, Rufio. Rufio, come on. What's your name, Rufio? Does your name start with a B? Come on, man. You're playing games with me. It's going to be completely dark down here later. Oh, it's the IR. Rufio.
Why Rufio?
He was banned.
Okay, as long as I can hold here. Still third floor.
really strong energy through here. Just really strong. It's really strong. It's like I want to cry. I mean, it's a sad energy. And I would say
People upstairs talking.
possible a female. And that's what I'm getting, is like a female's energy. She's sad, maybe depressed.
Can you tell what she's wearing?
I can't see her. It's just the energy I'm picking up from
You
her.
can just feel her.
I can just feel her. She's just making me like I want to cry. what you get out here, the sadness or it's gone, so it's over there. The energy over here is
Feel a little tight-chested in that area right there, like it's a little hard to breathe.
Back there, coming to the
Right,
threshold.
Yeah, just coming out of that room into that right there.
Okay.
I felt like somebody was looking there, but I felt like a little.
right behind. She's following us, or what? Back there, it's like she's following us. As soon as I got right back to here, I got right back to. I just want to cry.
Okay.
But it's just really, there's so much energy here. The ones I'm picking up, the ones are the strongest that I'm getting. You have a flashlight?
Yes, I do. Be careful. Let me turn on night vision.
And that might be why the female energy is following. I feel comfortable here with her
Mm-hmm.
in this room. So,
So what are you picking up in here?
it would be weird, but I'm picking up slaves.
Slaves?
I'm picking up slaves. That's what I got the feeling of, slave. It's like, well, not slaves, maybe workers. Rephrase that.
Workers?
Supplies that
One, well, I felt like they put their sick, and like if somebody was sick, they put them in there.
supplies that it felt like the guy was showing cold soup down here. Supplies that
Well, maybe.
they're not the people that live. They're not the owners of the home. They wasn't the.
Well, just a shot in the dark. Maybe the guy back there shoveling coal might have slept down here.
Possible.
You know, to keep the heat going all night for the owners upstairs. I don't know. It's a shot in the dark.
I think if we can do some setup down here, like grid work, and see. I wonder if they've ever had, some activity down here. This would have been a place where, probably the person who did the general upkeep of the place spent a lot of time with like servants. Possibly a little romance down here. Just saying. A little sneak look from the owners. There might have been something down here for a little rendezvous. But that could be the secret.
Could be.
But I think there's a secret down here.
He lived down here. Or he stayed down here. But the female, she reminds me of. And this is what I hate. Because I want to say she's black. legs are netted.
What about the guy shoveling the coal?
I saw his back. He looked with his hair. He looked white.
Okay.
He had straight black hair, probably right about here at the look. And it's really well groomed. He had a hat on over top of it, like a what you would call it, I would call it one of those old railroad caps people would wear or whatever, or you would see boys will wear.
Okay, yeah, like I know what you're talking about. I just don't know the name of them.
Just by the back of it, like I said, he's probably early 40s, mid 40s.
Was ready.
The basement.
I know when I went in, I kind of did what you did. I was pulled to the all the way through, and then one of the words I just got was secrets, and it wasn't anything, like some of the places we've gone into, there were heinous acts. I didn't get that, but what I had gotten at one point was that there may have been some sort of budding romance down there.
Okay. No. I thought this was interesting because when me and Brendan went down there, I told Brendan I saw a man towards the back doing some work. Like, I don't know if he was stacking fire for wood or coal or anything like that, but I said there was somebody back there doing work. And when I saw him, I saw him very clearly. It was a consistent image in my head. And then when I looked over to the left a bit, I saw a woman. And she was wearing a gown, not a gown, but like a dress, and then it sort of tied right here and then it went down more. And her hair was sort of done, I don't know.
Yeah.
But
All the hair was done.
she occurred to me in the image as not as much as a consistent part of being in the basement as the man was. The man was always in the basement. This was his area. The woman was down there from time to time.
Right.
She was there. And then we picked up on a smart aleck. Not a smart aleck, but it was a guy. We picked up on a guy down there with a pretty cool personality. I told Brandon I didn't know what it was. It could have been one of the sons that was older, or one of the guys, but the person I did see in his back end where I thought they did storage, he wasn't very tall. Like, how tall did we say?
He's not tall.
Yeah, that's the exact height, around that height, and I saw him back there working, and it was like his area, but I'm sorry, go ahead.
Now, when I came down, I got drawn all the way to the front, the very front of it, and I picked up a guy shoveling coal. He was shoveling coal into a coal furnace. He was wearing this black slacks, definitely still suspenders. I just saw the back of him because I just seen that he was continually shoveling. He didn't even recognize that we were there, so I picked up as he was residual.
No, okay, it was residual.
Yeah, he just didn't even recognize that we were there. He didn't even bother to turn or. I just seen this whole back part. He was not a very big guy. When I was describing it to him, he's like more of Robert's, maybe a little bit bigger. He was about 5 foot something.
Okay, so we're all picking up on the 5
And I definitely picked up that he would spend 90% of his time down there, possibly even sleeping down there.
Wow.
Was he in age? Was he older or?
He was not, let's say late, about the 40s, I think I said.
In his 40s.
He's about his late 30s, 40s, mid 40s. But I picked up black hair. I did pick up the black. I seen this black straight hair. He did have like a little cap on his head. Hair definitely didn't go past this part here.
So it was a coal furnace. I mean, the boiler was fired by coal originally. The original boiler was down. So that makes sense.
Right. Coming out of that part there, I got pulled over to where the furnace is now. The little concrete walkway. I walked that, and I picked up a female, very sad spirit. I just had the feeling I wanted to cry. So it was very sad. Dressed white. I told Robert I really couldn't pick up a picture of her, but I could tell she was a very nice dress. So I didn't pick up that she was a slave or a servant or anything of the house, so something possible of something to do with the lady of the house or something like that. On the left-hand side, I picked up an energy. It was a good. I didn't see nothing there, but it was very funny energy. You just felt it.
Funny?
I think the funny energy is Jimmy.
That's
I do.
Yeah.
There's never been a picture taken of Jimmy where he wasn't smiling.
Wait. Jimmy, the god?
Jimmy is the son. Jimmy Gill.
Is that who I was picking up on? Because when me and Brendan were doing a ghost box session, we picked up on a guy, and I was like, well, what'd I say? Like, what did you say?
You called him a weird name, and he just was going with it.
Yeah, and then I asked him, like, what did you say? He said, I didn't say nothing, or something like that. That was the response we got on Ghost Box. So
Jimmy
Yeah.
would be the second picture there.
Yeah.
And the stories of him was that he was a character.
Mischievous and
Allegedly swam in water.
he climbed up in the gallion's water tower, which used to be closed over here, and swam from one side to the other. Yeah.
How old would he be?
Oh, when he moved into the house, he would have been 12, so
But
he
he
would have
always
been
would
up
have
to a young
been
man.
born
and
on
so-
this property in the
Yeah.
other house.
'Cause
When
I
this
told-
house was built, he was 12. And he
I told-
stayed in Gannon's.
So he's the one that considered the daredevil?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He used to
Yeah.
race motorcycles
Yeah.
down
Yeah.
the street.
Right.
Love. Yeah, because he was, he had one of the, he was the only one that had a motorcycle, didn't he? Or he was the first motorcycle or something like that.
Very early, he would have had one. He and
Yeah.
Freeze Boys.
Yeah, I think he said he was,
Yeah, he was one of the first of the car.
Yeah.
I guess, at least that's what I picked up in your document.
Now,
It wasn't like I detected that, I read
so
that.
what about the front half when you first go down there?
That's what I was getting ready to come to. When I went to the laundry room and I picked up a female spirit there. She was definitely a worker, but I kept on, and I was second guessing myself on this one because I told Robert, possible her being African American, which kind of threw me off. I had a feeling I could be wrong on that
I
one.
don't think so. Not in this town.
Yeah, that's what I told Robert. I'm getting African American, but I think I'm wrong on that
This
one.
town was all white until,
Let's put it this way, the 1960 census, this is the largest city in the state of Ohio with no black population.
Right.
so.
But I picked up that she was a worker. I just kept seeing like she was hanging clothes.
We had Hispanic at that time. But we
Yeah,
Hispanic.
a lot, but
didn't-
Is there a chance that someone actually slept down in that basement?
Don't know.
I don't know.
There's so many unknowns with this house that
We have,
sometimes we're
yeah,
learning from you all.
yes, yeah.
Actually, it has happened where we'll get something from this and do a little research and kind of like,
Yeah.
Corroborate something.
Yeah,
That's great.
that's what I told Robert. I picked up the guy, especially the guy shoveling the coal.
Yeah.
He spent 90% of his time actually down there. He even like I think it was the one back room was where I picked up where he might have slept at.
And we picked up that, it was somebody who was like a maintenance man or
Right,
caretaker.
yeah.
what was the,
So,
Sam, but
I
Sam
kept
was
saying,
older.
younger,
Yeah,
because
because
remember
remember,
Sam
Sam
married
married-
took care of the house.
Well, that was the end of the Gill House Psychic Experiment. It ended on a proper note because by the end of it all, we were able to figure out which spirits were in the home. Rather, they were just residual or intelligent in occurrence. We got a thorough examination of the attic, second floor, first floor, and basement. We were able to get Jennifer involved, Lori involved, Gary involved, and I got to dabble a little bit at the time. Not only were we able to get an idea of the spirits in the home, we were able to get a pretty good idea of sort of when they occurred in the home's history. By having the historians there, we were able to get some pretty good feedback and figure out, when did this boy spirit that we're picking up occur in the overall history of the home. What was the relationship to the woman in the basement, or what was going on with the woman in the basement and the man in the basement. And just an overall ebb and flow. If you notice, the attic was strictly the kids. The second floor, you picked up on some kids, as well as the older woman and caretakers, things that were sort of residual occurrences within the history of the home. When you got down to the basement, there was a difference in the energy that these guys felt. Upstairs, hustle and bustle, child energy, but when they got into the basement, the energy that they described was much more deep. It was more tangible. It interacted with them a little bit differently. Whatever happened in the basement, it must have been something pretty serious. And when we talk about the basement and the energy that they felt down there, Jennifer thought that, hey, maybe there's some secrets down here. Lori picked up on a potential for slaves that we found out through the historians. There were no African Americans in the area. But we had the potential for there to be Hispanics. But that feel in the basement, that something was down there. A man stayed down there 99% of the time, which we got validation from 3 mediums on that. And then that this woman occurred down there also, but at a more limited rate, as if she was a guest. Something else with the basement that needs to be noted is that the energy that they felt sort of had a correlation with the EVP that was captured down there. It's a Class A EVP. When I hear it, it's very clear to me. And the context of it with the question, I think they put their dead down here. And immediately to get a response of a woman saying, well, why do you care? To me, it's something quite impressive, because when you look at everything that the mediums picked up, the man down there was residual. But when they speak about the woman, when she speaks about the woman, she follows her with her energy. The energy has a language. I keep saying that energy has a language, but you find that she conveyed emotions to her. She couldn't see the woman. She tried to put together the image of the woman, and that's why she was feeling a little bit uncomfortable doing it, but she couldn't see the woman at the time. But her emotions were very clear. And then all of a sudden you get this eruption of an EVP of a woman saying, why do you care? And she's asking, I know what you just said. I know the people that may have been down here. Well, I care for them quite a bit, but why do you care? Why do you care enough to make that mention, to say that thing? And to me, that's a very intelligent exchange of energy. The woman conveys energy onto the psychic. She can convey energy through digital means. And for a second, I thought she moved the dang cord, but she didn't. But what you're seeing down there is how energy relates. Not only to the psychics, not only to a technical investigator, but the energy has a very strong relationship when you're dealing with something as intelligent as this woman may have been. But the big thing is, between all 3 of them, we were able to put together a pretty solid story. And I'm finding more and more that no matter what it is, you have a special sense too. Whether it's psychic medium work, general ESP, clairvoyance, psychometry, all of it does come down to this exchange of energy. Here's a story. I met a woman this past week, actually today, and she was at a crosswalk and she had a geode on her chest and it was resting on her chest. And I asked her, can you feel that energy? She said, yeah, I can feel the energy of a geode. And I made a note to her saying, if you could feel the energy of that geode, can you feel the energy of people you meet? And she replied and she said, yes, I do feel the energy of people I meet. And then I said, well, can you gather information from that energy of the people like you gather information and feelings and just general alignment from a geode? She concurred and said, yes, I do. I get a lot of readings on people, but I never pay any attention to them. And I was telling her, you have to trust those instincts, sort of make a log. But the point of this is, I said, well, have you ever done mediumship work? Have you ever sensed ghosts or spirits or things like that? And she told me she hadn't. And I explained to her that if you can sense the energy from a geode, the energy from a person, and you can take that energy that you receive from this person and turn it into concepts, conscious cognition, cognitive thought, and develop attributes of a person, just like you can feel the attributes of a geode or a crystal, then you can see and feel the energy from a spirit. And I tell her many times that the mind fools you. The mind gives you doubt. And that doubt is a reflection of some of the rules and constructs we live by. It basically goes down to, we have to have something physically tangible there for us to touch and visualize, to say, oh yeah, this is energy. But in reality, when we deal with spirit energy and we go to a site and we have our psychic mediums there, and you even as a technical investigator go there and you sense these things, the energy is very much there from these spirits, and it operates in the same manner as a living person or a geode. If you've ever done psychometry, you can gather so much information, but these spirits, they have an energy to them. And if you suspend thought for a moment and release yourself from the idea that you need something physically tangible there to interpret and understand these energies, you'll find that many times you will run into some energy at a site that will give you all the information you need. It's not going to come overnight. Nothing comes overnight. But when you go out, keep your recorder on, but turn the rest of the gadgets off and feel the energy. Eventually, you'll start to distinguish between free floating, a term I want to coin. I've coined non-physical intelligence. And you'll see that it is out there 100% more than you could ever imagine. And once you start doing this more and more, you begin to understand what your energy is, what your baseline is, what your excited level is, what your open level is. And you'll understand when these energy fields or these beings come into your level, you start to make sense out of the disruption. Just like when you're walking on the street and somebody comes up to you and they're as happy as can be, becomes contagious. If they're as mad as be, look, I don't want to mess with you, but back up. But energy is the soul. And if you're a person that believes in these things, the soul separates from the body. Energy separates from the body. And it carries memories and it carries things you could never imagine. But being out here in the paranormal parapsychology field, you got to study this stuff. Not every damn thing is a gadget. The EMF reader is a secondary tool. A digital recorder, I could talk about digital recorders for hours, but I think they're important. But, I mean, in closing, if you really take the time to examine these videos, you'll see that each of these psychic mediums interpret energy in a different way. Look at both videos. There's 4 parts to this series. There's 1 part to the Rhodes Hotel. And a lot of my EVP stuff that I put out there, you'll hear my psychic mediums talking, the ones I've worked with. There's a clear transfer of energy. And I'll try and show you more here in the future, but there is some kind of correlation between intelligent spirits, the energy that a psychic feels, because they'll tell you, and the quality of EVP that you get. And I say quality meaning classification and things like that. You can get some other stuff too, but it's very interesting. I'm glad, if you're hearing this, I'm glad you've watched and listened this far. Thank you. But other than that, just always remember energy is a language, and non-physical intelligence do exist. There's so many different forms of them. But open your eyes to it a bit and you'll see.